Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Glad you can make it. If this is your first time joining us, welcome to Dave & Will's Guitar, and if you're returning, thanks for watching again. Today I wanted to bring you one of my favorite guitars I've ever worked on, and one of my, I would say one of the best guitars I've ever had the chance to set up and alter and make something that I want, and just demonstrate what this guitar is. So today I've got an Epiphone. This is an Epiphone 61 SG. And I really like this guitar. It is quite good. Unfortunately, I'm doing this video because I'm gonna have to sell it. Not because of any financial constraint, it's just I don't play it enough. It's hard, you know, I got a balance of the guitars I own, and this is one that's just gotta go because it's just not getting enough attention. So it goes, I suppose. But wanted to bring this to you today because I think this is a great deal. It's one of the Epiphones I think that really stands out in the Epiphone lineup for the price and for what you get. It's just a fantastic guitar. And then I'm going to go over all the work I've done to it to kind of get there. But I am selling it, and if you're interested at the end of the video, I will have a link to the reverb shop eventually when I get it up there. And hopefully, you know, maybe someone else could enjoy it too. So let's start by what we had here. So the Epiphone 61, it's like an Epiphone SG Standard 61. I believe that's the full name. I'll put it there. I'll have a little description or a chiron there, kind of call it out what it is. But it's really quite a good guitar. The pickups, in fact, the original pickups in this guitar I actually put in the Squier 12-string Jazzmaster that I'm also selling. So I liked most things in this guitar, and I reused the parts that I took out, those that I could. But to really get this into a playing condition that I thought really made it shine, you know, those things that I've done have really made it an excellent guitar. So let's talk about some of those. So starting from the headstock, I put in locking tuners. So these are Godot locking tuners. They are awesome, and they are quite good. If you've ever used Godot anything, you'll be pleasantly surprised by how good quality those Japanese-made tuners are. These are no exception, and they still are in the same like vintage style with these like plastic-looking tuning buttons that come standard on this guitar. Just again, these are the locking ones, not the original. Moving on, some of the other things I've done. So we've got this string butler. This is a nice little addition for anyone with a 3x3 headstock, especially the Epiphones, Gibsons, Taylors. They can all have this nice little string butler. Now you're probably thinking, well, what does a string butler do? Well, the string butler, as you can see, there's these 4 pegs, and they allow the strings to run through the nut to the tuner without having a weird break angle. They come straight through the nut. Now you're probably asking, what does that mean? Well, what it means for tuning stability is that as the string comes through the nut, it's not pulled left or right, so it's has less of a chance to bind in the nut. So when you have a nice smooth transition like on most Fender guitars, you have a much better chance to stay in tune and keep the tune of the guitar as you're playing it. And you know, it's a nice addition. I think they're around like 35, 50 bucks. I can't remember what I paid for it, but they're not terribly expensive, but it's an awesome upgrade. If you ever need something like that, or you find yourself having those issues with the nut. The other thing I did is I replaced the nut. So this is not the original nut. This is a Graphtec XL Graphtec Tusk XL nut. This is the one that they recommend for Epiphones. I filed it, sanded it, put it, you know, redid the strings, made sure the string height was appropriate. I will say the D string is very low on this. I cut it a little low, but there's no buzzing issues. So anyone who buys this, you'll notice that one is not within spec, but it's close enough. And again, there's no buzzing. So all the other strings are perfect. And I think anyone who gets this guitar will feel it. It feels great to play. Let's see the other things. It comes with nickel silver frets, and these frets were not perfectly level when I got it. It only needed a few spot leveling issues. It had a few spot levels that needed to be done with a fret kisser. So I went ahead and used that and polished those frets. Well, leveled them, crowned them, and then polished those frets that needed that. So not a whole lot of work there actually. And this guitar was really quite easy to work on. It was, it's so light. You know, if you've ever played an SG, they do have an issue with neck dive, and this one is not terribly different. So if you're not used to that, then you have to get used to that. It's just a very typical thing on SGs. I have never found it to be a problem when I play it. If you wear a guitar strap, you generally won't have that issue. So in any event, it's still a great guitar even with that little bit of neck dive. But the frets are level, and that's what I was trying to get at, right? So they are quite level. They're good. They've been polished. I will say there's a tad bit of fret wear. So I've only owned this guitar for 2 years. I bought it used, and after buying it used, and playing it, I played it quite a bit. There's just a tiny bit of fret wear. You can really only see it on the 3rd fret of the B string there, where you're holding like a D chord. It doesn't need to be fret leveled or anything. It's just starting to like notice the fret wear from those open chords that you're probably very familiar with. Other than that, all the other frets are fine, and this guitar still has a ton of life in it, so it is quite good. One thing I usually do when I get a new guitar is I roll the fretboard edge. I do it on almost every guitar I have, unless it doesn't need it. This one, however, didn't need it. It has like a nice rolled edge. It's not like super rolled, but it's rolled enough to where I'm comfortable with it and I don't feel like I need to. So very pleasantly surprised with that. It just came that way. It doesn't feel like it was played in. It just feels like that was new because it's all across the fretboard from top to bottom. So it's got that nice rolled feeling. And so yeah, that's really awesome to have too. The other things we should talk about, the back of the neck. It is the slim taper neck. It's a very thin neck. It almost feels like a D-shaped neck. It's great. I like it. If you like a very thin neck, you're going to be very happy with this guitar. And with the 12-inch fretboard radius and that thin neck, like it makes playing quickly pretty easy. And especially because, you know, with this upper fret access, if you've ever played an SG, there's nothing to get in the way of your hand. Like your hand goes up and like I can reach over the pickup very easily because there's just nothing in the way. It's one of the things I like best about these SG models. Okay, moving on. So the pickups, I did change out the pickups. These are Seth Lover pickups. These are the Seymour Duncan ones. They're just, they sound like a standard PAF pickup, but if you've ever heard the Seth Lover pickups from Seymour Duncan, they sound awesome. I really like the sound. You know, it's almost hard to sell this guitar, but I'm surprised I just don't play it more because it is quite good. So another thing I really enjoy was the sound of this guitar after upgrading that. I did cut the wires on the quick connect system. So this is just these pickups wired into the original wiring. I just cut out the quick connect and then just connected those wires to the pickup wires, and it works perfectly. There's no issues. The Seth Lovers in here have 4 wires, so if you did want to take these out and put them in a different guitar, you could coil split them if you wanted to. They're built that way, so that is an option if you want to use these pickups elsewhere for anyone who may want this guitar. But you know, I wired it without a push-pull. I just like the humbucker sound. I had these pickups in a different guitar with a push-pull, and I just didn't really care for the single coil tones of these, but I really love the humbucker tones, and that's really where I think this guitar shines, or these pickups shine. So moving on. Okay, the other thing I did, I put a roller bridge on here. So roller bridges are nice when you pull strings, bending, or what have you. You're not going to get any binding in that bridge. Generally, that's not a problem on most guitars anyway, but I thought, heck, I'd try it and put it on there. It was an aftermarket part. That is probably the cheapest part I put on here, but I would say it is an upgrade. I made sure that all of these roll. In fact, one of them, when I bought this bridge, it didn't roll very well, so I took that saddle out and filed it and made sure that it was actually rolling smoothly. So now it actually rolls quite smoothly, and none of them have any binding or catching. So this is, it's really quite good. If you wanted to put, like, I had a Duesenberg less trem on here at one point, and that's why I put the roller bridge on, so I could, like, you know, have that little whammy effect going on. And I didn't love that, so I took it off. So now it's just got a stop bar tailpiece. And this is the Epiphone stop bar tailpieces. I usually don't talk about these because they're like, they all kind of work the same. I've never had one be a problem. The only thing I will say about the Epiphone that I like a little better, it has a clip. So when you remove the strings, this clip, it like clips to the bridge post, and it kind of like hooks in there, locks in there. It doesn't want to get released. So when you cut the strings, the bridge isn't gonna, or the tailpiece doesn't just like fall off the guitar like it would on some other Gibsons and other models. So it's really good. So yeah, the pots and whatnot, these are just full-size pots. So yeah, I can't remember the brand. I don't think they're CTS, I can't remember. They might be CTS, whatever the standard Epiphone line is, that's what's in there. Didn't change any of those out. And again, they used to have the quick connect system. They don't anymore, it's just standard wiring. So yeah, everything works well. None of the electronics are bad. I've never had any issues with any of those, but it is a fantastic guitar. I mean, I cannot speak any more highly about this guitar. It's just great for the price. I mean, even if you were to get one on, you know, Reverb, if you want to buy them new, I think they're like somewhere between $500 to $600. Used on Reverb, you can get them for like, I can't remember, around $400, $450 or something like that. I don't exactly remember, but with all the upgrades, I mean, the pickups alone were like over $200. String butler, this was like around $35 to $50. The tuners were like around $70, and then the roller bridge was actually just like a $20 part. So with all these other features I've added, oh yeah, and the tusk nut was $15. So put a lot of money into this, like, you know, between the pickups, the string butler, and the nut, and the locking tuners. I mean, the guitar is almost paid for itself in just parts that I've added onto it. So kind of wild, but yeah, it is phenomenal. So if you've ever thought about buying one of these, it's a great mod platform. If you've never played an SG, some of the features of this, just the upper fret access, the way it sits, it's super light. One of my favorite things about this guitar, especially if you're a taller person, the way it sits on your body, right? This cutout here, your leg sits under the bridge pickup. So if you're sitting under the bridge pickup, most guitars have you moved a little bit farther to, well, it'd be my right? So it usually sits about here. So you're kind of sitting your legs between the pickups. And what that means is the neck is farther out to the left. So it feels more comfortable. Sometimes when I'm playing other guitars, I feel like I'm scrunching up and I'm like kind of constricted here, playing in the upper frets. But with this guitar, I feel like I can extend my arm a little more, and it feels just way more comfortable to play it like that. The other step forward, if you wanted to go something even more extreme, like if you're, I don't know, are you bigger? If you're taller than 6'3", maybe you have like you're a huge guy. If you buy a Firebird, it's even further that way. The cutout actually sits over closer to the bridge and the tailpiece, so it even feels farther out. Now, I've played one and I've owned one, and I feel like that was too far. I did not find that comfortable, but this was kind of like the sweet spot. So something to definitely try if you go to like Guitar Center, or if you're in one of those, you know, your local mom and pop shop. I would say pick one up and see what you think. So yeah, I think I've hit all the notes. We should get Dave to take it away, right? You guys want to hear some tones? And yeah, let me know what you think. And if you think this was, you know, a modded beauty or some complete waste of time, or should I just went and bought a Gibson and made my life easier? Let me know what you think. Anyway, thanks for joining, and hope you have a great day. Thanks.